I think what I would call a really cool show today. What I mean by that is today I'll be talking about Pros Week. Pros Week is the largest collection of NFL talent anywhere other than the NFL Pro Bowl. Then I'm also going to talk a little bit about the Elite 11 finals. I know we touched on that last week. And then we're going to have two special guests, Max Brosmer and Jordan Yates. Max Brosmer and Jordan Yates are two young guys who have had the opportunity to train for quite some time. They worked with me and the QB Takeover crew since they were in maybe sixth grade when we first get rolling, and we've been able to build something special. But I want to dive in a little bit more to Pros Week. Pros Week is a special event. It happens once a year, and it's one of the interesting things that happen in the NFL world that I don't think enough people know about. But it's something really, really cool. David Mulligetta, who is an agent for a number of the best players in the NFL. We could go down the list. Best cornerback in the league, Jalen Ramsey. He's got Micah Parsons. He's got Casey Hayward. He has, the list could go on and on and on and on about all the group of guys that he has. But each and every year, he brings them out to Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas is his home. And all of these guys come together to do a few different things. One, fellowship, of course. Two, they get to work on their skills. And that's something that we just got out the field today. And the quarterback group was absolutely studded. In that quarterback group, we have Deshaun Watson, we have Jordan Love, we have Justin Fields, we have Malik Willis, we had C.J. Stroud, and there was two younger high school guys who actually joined us for the event as well, who have a really, really bright future. I think they're both either number one or number two in their classes, and they were able to work alongside these high-level NFL guys, high-level college guys, going through each and every one of the drills. And what we worked on today, we always like to get groups of guys like that started with some movement, want to get them going off platform, some flat escape throws right and left, started there. Then they said they wanted to work some evasive movement in the pocket. So we wanted to work on that. And what we did in today's case, we worked evasive movements off of play action pass. So what that looks like, we did a variation of inside zone, outside zone, and counter quarterback footwork. Did that, and then we did two aggressive pull moves going forward. So the reason that we wanted to work on that move is because it happens over and over again in the NFL. And a lot of times guys get caught in a position where they're doing drills like this and all their weight gets on their front foot. It makes it very, very difficult to complete passes, right? And then the ball gets tricky. You're not able to be as successful at the highest level. So we wanted to work on that. The second thing that we wanted to do was get them with some movement. So we did a reset movement, kicking back, and then we attacked the second cone, which is really good because it forces guys to run at a particular angle, not necessarily towards their target. And while they're running at this angle, they have to have the ability to disassociate their upper half from their lower half and be able to deliver a ball that's going to be on target. So that was really, really impressive. And then we worked through an NFL concept. That NFL concept for us today we were working was drift. And then on the back side, we did either a blaze out or a bench route. So we were able to go quick action, eyes set directly to the drift, and then be able to kick back and reset to that bench route. So those are some of the throws that we worked on. Something that consistently stands out to me, especially when working alongside Jordan Love, is Jordan Love's ability to throw the football. And even like talking to him about his opportunity to start a game last year against Kansas City Chiefs, but his ability to throw the ball consistently and accurately and then deliver the ball with energy really gives you good insight on why he was a first-round quarterback, because he has not had really an opportunity to go out there and be really successful on the field, and that's just because he's had a lack of snaps. But I think that when he does become that consistent NFL starter, when he really gets the opportunity to take over a team, be the leader in the locker room, or when Aaron Rodgers decides to give up the reins, he's going to be highly successful. And I think that when we saw his game last year, I don't think people dug in enough to the tape. And this is just from me watching. I saw a ton of zero pressures throughout that game. And zero pressures is not something that the Green Bay Packers got throughout the season last year when Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback. So it's not something that they, I think, had a ton of answers for going into that week. And the answers that they had that week were really go balls, right? They were going quick fades whenever they got zero pressure. And that's a very low percentage pass for you to hit. So if you're getting lit up and zero pressure is a defense, and defense is bringing more people than you have the ability to block. There's no middle safety. There's nobody there, and they're just lighting you up. It becomes very, very difficult to be a successful quarterback in that situation. I think that's what we experienced there with him. Now, Justin Fields is somebody I want to talk about who is performing here today. Justin Fields makes very, very difficult things look very routine. Like his ability to contort his body, change arm angles, change his launch point on a number of different throws and be able to work different trajectories and paces is absolutely unreal. And I think that Justin Fields will be a top 5 quarterback in the league. And I actually mentioned this to him today. I said, Justin, you're going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league as soon as he makes all of the routine plays look really routine. Because when he gets that opportunity, and I know that the Chicago Bears are going to start putting more and more and more weapons around him, he is going to be truly, truly special. He's going to be able to do some things that everybody wishes they could do. I'm Quincy Avery, quarterback trainer to many of the top quarterbacks throughout the country, and we're just talking about Dave Mulligetti's pro week where some of his top clients come out and do some work together on the field. Now I want to get into talk a little bit about Malik Willis. Malik, I've spent so much time with him recently, just in terms of all the pre-draft work that nothing really shocks me anymore, especially his arm strength. He threw a ball, I think, 77 yards. Like, he just does – he threw the ball 77 yards, but he was flat-footed. So that he didn't step into his throw. He rotated around his court and just let it rip. And then you see somebody like, okay, all right, I understand the talent is there. And I don't think that people saw the best version of Malik at Liberty University. He didn't necessarily have the pieces around him to be as successful as he probably could have. We're going to continue to see him grow and develop into that and continue to get better. Now, there's something I saw people talking about later this past week, C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud was a big topic of conversation, especially in some draft circles, talking about some of the things that C.J. Stroud was doing in terms of offense, a one-read quarterback. There's no such thing as a one-read quarterback in the Big Ten. You do not have the ability to be a one-read quarterback and be as successful as he was, complete the ball at the higher levels as he did, throw for 500 yards in the Rose Bowl. And he was able to go throw for throw, I think, was it 4 or 5 guys in the NFL who have the ability to be starting caliber quarterbacks. He is going to go very early in the draft next year. He's going to be himself. And the thing that sticks out to you and you are always aware of is CJ's confidence, right? You're never thrown off by his ability to be ready to compete, especially with the top guys at the highest levels and do all the things necessary. So CJ is something I'm really, really excited about going into the last year of college football. I'm Quincy Avery. You're listening to With Quincy Avery. I'm going to give you a song, but when we come back, we're going to be talking to Max Brosmer. Max Brosmer is somebody I talk about all the time. He's probably the most accurate quarterback that I've had the pleasure of working with throughout my years. And he's also somebody who is truly a product of work. Max is like a really good athlete now, but you would have not thought he would have this level of athleticism growing up. He's going to be one of those guys that he could stay in New Hampshire where a lot of top quarterbacks have come from, but he's probably going to be a guy that a lot of schools are going to hope would enter the transfer portal next year. Not that it's something that I would recommend. He's going to be really successful. He's coming off a bunch of adversity in terms of knee injuries, but he's going to be a guy that I think every school in the country will be like, I want this guy to be my quarterback in my school next year, and he has the ability to play in the NFL really, really quickly. And then Jordan Yates. Jordan Yates is someone who's super special to me. Jordan Yates had probably the most memorable high school career of anybody that I know from the Atlanta area. Brought a team who I don't think had any business in the state championship, won that game, put the team on his back, and decided he was better than one of the top 5 teams in the country. And he never really got a true opportunity to become the guy at Georgia Tech. But when he did, he was really successful. He has now transferred to Sam Houston State. So we're going to talk to those guys a little bit about their journey, how they got to where they're at. And I'm going to play one of the songs that Max requested with Who You Fooling. And when we get back, we'll have them on. We'll have you back with Good Q with Quincy Avery. We got Jordan Yates and Max Brosmer, two quarterbacks who remember the quarterback takeover for quite some time. And who would have thought that "Who You Fooling" would be the song of request by Max Brosmer? Max, what has gotten into you where you are playing "Who You Fooling"? This is not who we thought you'd be.
You know, I actually, we were out in LA a couple of years ago. I heard that song. We were on the field, and I was like, damn, that's kind of a good song. So I got stuck with it today.
I should talk about the conversation that we just had at Doug Max about dunks and Air Forces, but I'm gonna leave that for all the record. But I do want to talk to you guys a little bit. Jordan, you just transferred. We're at San Diego State. Max, you're at New Hampshire. You guys weren't the quarterbacks of the team last year. Max, you would have been the quarterback, but you were injured all last year. Jordan, you weren't at the school. But how do you guys stepping into the transition of the summer and kind of take over the role as a starting quarterback? Because I feel like everybody at these schools knows you guys are going to step into that role. Like, what does that look like for you when you guys hop into a new program? How do you kind of establish that? Because this might be something that helps our high school quarterbacks going into their college career kind of make that transition.
I'll go first because I feel like I'm more new than this, but I would say just like you got to kind of establish that credibility, gain that credibility with your new teammates, and you can't do that.
How do you establish the credibility?
I'll get into it. Let me finish. Appreciate it. But I was just like, you can't come in like and immediately like be that vocal leader. Like you gotta prove yourself to your teammates, through your work, through your actions, like how you study, really trying to get to know the guys before you can really try to establish yourself as that team's leader. So that's just what I'm trying to do, just trying to, show these guys I work hard and, I'm bought into the team and all that, and hopefully I can step into that leader role.
Yeah, I think it's something that is pretty consistent with every school you come into, especially as one, a transfer, and then two, an incoming freshman. For me, it was a little different. Obviously, this past year, I tore my ACL in August, and so I'm coming off that injury now. I get cleared this month. But for me, it was kind of just throughout the whole fall season, I kind of turned into a coaching role and helping my guys stay ready throughout each week and making sure that everybody's on top of their stuff, helping them get their playbooks, helping them with different defensive coverages and reads and stuff, and making sure we're all on the same page. For me, coming back this year, I was able to do some stuff in the spring. I did 7-on-7, just as long as I was away from offensive, defensive lines, and just kind of stay away from contact. And I think that was a good way to kind of get my body back into the role. And I think this summer is huge as well. Getting back with the team, we got a lot of guys up right now, and so getting my face back on the field and showing the guys that I've been working my butt off this summer to get back to that role for me.
Jordan, you had a unique situation of being the transfer. How does the coaching staff kind of take in grad transfers? Because it's not something that's really been normal for a long time. Like, this is something that's fairly new. How does everybody see you on the team? Is it like, all right, he's a grad transfer, we know he's coming, or the quarterback room get a little shaken up when you get to it?
I would say just from coming in as a grad transfer and also being at my last school and seeing other transfers and grad come in, I think just kind of the differences with the grad transfers, like, like they, for the most part, know what they're doing. Like, they're coming in, they're trying to play right away. Like, they're kind of about their business. Like, you don't really have to hold their hand. So I think you kind of almost come into that leader role, and coaches obviously have like a high expectation out of you because, I've got my degree already. I've been playing college football for a couple of years, so it's definitely a high expectation. But, I think it's, it's well-deserved because, I should know what I'm doing at this point and, be able to end myself. I hope so.
So, Max, how did you tear your ACL? How does this happen?
Just a little mishap in practice. Got in the wrong spot at the wrong time. And, football stuff happens, man, but it's all about how you come back, baby.
So you've torn both ACLs now. The other quarterback I know who that happened to is Deshaun Watson, who actually played for your high school coach, the same high school coach. How does someone all right, you tear one ACL, now you tear the next. Do you think that gives you like an advantage in terms of going about the rehab process, or how does that feel?
So I've had my left knee was actually an LCL, which is, it doesn't sound that much different, but it was a little bit different of an injury. It was about a 5-month recovery. This one was a 9-month recovery. And I think the LCL one kind of gave me a taste of what rehab felt like and kind of just what the mindset was like. But I think I really got into that when I tore my ACL on my right leg this year. And I think you kind of start to see positives and start to see light towards the end of it. But the first few months is you get kind of pretty low on yourself. But that there's always going to be adversity when you come in football. And I think maybe I just hadn't gone through something as difficult as that. I think, I'm grateful, as much as it sounds bad, but I'm grateful it happened now. And it's kind of given me a new light to what it means to be in a lower place and kind of how to come out of it. It's going to happen every day, everywhere in life. So I think just happening to me now, it's kind of given some different perspective on what I need to do.
I think the cool part about quarterback is it teaches you lessons in life that you're going to use throughout time, right? The ability to respond to adversity, the ability to lead men, and everybody's going to lead men in their own individual way. Yeah. Some guys may be more vocal, some guys may not. Some guys might just be the work hard guy, the guy who's going to just show you how to do it and show what they're about, and then everybody gets to, choose who they want to follow and how they're going to roll. Now, I want to talk about today. I did a workout. Today's workout was Deshaun Watson, Justin Fields, Jordan Love, Malik Willis, C.J. Stroud. These are all guys, except for Jordan Love, that you guys have probably thrown with, or the opportunity to do some workouts with. When you guys are in an experience like that, where it's other top quarterbacks, and you guys are all kind of trying to throw – it's everybody's learning from each other, but it's a bit of competition. What are you guys trying to take from sessions like that, more than just each individual reps? But what are you guys doing throughout those workouts to try and improve your game that you may not be able to do by yourself?
I can start with that one. I think for me personally, just knowing that I don't come from a crazy athletic background, just being with guys like that who can really move and really show you how to be athletic with football as a quarterback. Me taking in those little small details like footwork and how like they're rotating and not coming forward on their front leg and where they're putting the ball every single time, and if they throw a bad ball, watching their next throw and see how they overcome that and kind of change up the rep a little bit. I think that's huge for me. And also just you talked about the competition piece, like we're all boys out there, and then just knowing like, all right, I'm going to try to make a better throw than you did this time, and that's really helped me with how I've trained with QB Takeover and just with those other guys too. Is just knowing there's always going to be a better guy, and just in your mind you got to be confident in your skills, and so throwing with those guys, it's cool to try to compare and see how far you got to get to that level of competition.
Yeah, I would say. I would say just like the drills you usually put us through, like for the most part, there's still like some freedom in there a little bit, and everybody has their own like particular way of, how they move from one side of the drill to another. You know what I'm saying? Like different type of movements and kind of throwing in a different like rhythm, I guess, off different steps. So I guess just like taking that from other guys, just because everybody does something a little bit different. Also just like kind of like, getting to know those guys. We all bond over the same experiences. We all been through the same type of stuff. So that's always cool. But yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is just kind of seeing just like kind of the little small differences everybody has in their drills and their motion. Like I remember last time I was up there back in Atlanta throwing with Max, we were just talking about the same thing he just said, like rotating more and using his hips. And he was telling me about a drill that he did that helped him out when he's warming up. And I've been like trying to implement that too. So it's just like, bouncing different ideas off each other. I think just helps us all, grow and get better together.
I think it's interesting. It's interesting, especially in those environments, because you're looking at, all right, this guy started maybe here and he played big games against SEC competition. I know that I can make all the throws he's making. What do I need to do in my game to improve? So I think that's always interesting to me, because I've seen so many of you guys since so young, and I probably wouldn't have pegged Max being where he is. If seeing him at Max in 7th grade, I would not have necessarily said he'd be where he is, or you in 7th grade, just because of the amount of growth you guys made. It's really abnormal and a testament to your work. What kind of led that? Like, what about you was like, all right, I'm probably not where I want to be right now, but allowed you got to really push through to get to other levels? Because I've seen a lot of guys be where you are in middle school and not make the strides that you guys have made.
I'll start with that one because I'm thinking of something specific right now. But I remember so I've always wanted to play quarterback, obviously, because my uncle TJ, grew up watching him play quarterback, and so I guess that's kind of why I wanted to. But I remember specifically in my front yard when I was younger, probably like only like a year or two before I started training with you, I was throwing with my dad, just playing catch. He was like, "Yeah, I mean, somebody could probably turn you into a quarterback, but you just be an athlete, play." I think I was playing like linebacker and like safety and receiver, whatever I was playing at the time, just because I was athletic. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, "Yo, I'm gonna play quarterback." And then so I mean, I think that not that specifically, but just always having the drive and the work ethic that my parents instilled in me, and guys like you, or not guys like you, just helping that journey.
Yeah, I think for me it's been a long run. I think it started with the passion for the game. And I used to be a huge Ohio State fan, watching every single game growing up, and go to a few games here and there, and just we were diehard Ohio State fans. And the football piece just came naturally. I think we obviously tossing the ball in the front yard and all that stuff. And I just wanted to be like Troy Smith on the field, like number 10 baby, Ohio State. And that was one guy who I watched growing up, and that led to different quarterbacks like JT Barrett, Braxton Miller, all these quarterbacks at Ohio State. And I just wanted to be like them growing up, and that really kind of morphed into my passion of football. And since then, it's taken off for me. I just every single day, everything I do is about getting better and getting better for my team. And it's become a bit of a crazed passion, I think, and not in a bad way, but I just love being there for the team and love being there to win games. And I love being the guy they put the weight on the shoulders for to make sure that the team succeeds. So
cool. Well, I'm gonna take it into really the last question I usually ask guys when I hop on, because I think it's something that can help out a lot of guys moving forward. And I'll ask Max's first because his experience is a lot different than Jordan's. You are finishing your senior year recruiting. Tell me the kind of how you ended up where you ended up. And then I got one follow-up question right after that. So how do you end up at the University of New Hampshire leaving out of high school?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. I could honestly tell you I have no clue. I mean, I had never heard of University of New Hampshire in my life. I mean, I had some coach text me one time. He's like, "Yo, I'm from UNH. Like, come get a visit up." And I'm like, "Where's this school at?" Obviously New Hampshire, but I had no idea. And I kind of had a few hours here and there. I didn't have a lot coming out of high school. I wasn't a top tier guy. I was a little bit undersized. Maybe I wasn't strong enough. Wasn't fast enough. So, and I visited a few schools, and I went to UNH and had a really good visit there, and found a home there. And I saw there was an opportunity to play my freshman year. The starting quarterback was leaving, and so I took my money and ran with it. I mean, I want to play early. I want to get in the field and just work my butt off and competed for that spot. Just that's really the reason why I got there. Just the people there and just knowing that I had an opportunity to compete early.
What advice would you give to a youngster, to you, like previously in high school, going through all the things you were going through in terms of kind of handling the decision on where to go to college, and what would you have told yourself?
Well, I'm glad that the decision I made, it was the right decision I made. I think a lot of people, when I say that, I mean, I accepted a smaller school. Obviously, we're an FCS school in the CAA. And a lot of people they have these huge aspirations, just like I did, to go to the highest level of football. And people kind of don't realize that the football at the FCS level is a super, like, it's really good football. And I think knowing, like, if you want to play the next level, like a lot of us do, want to play the NFL, want to get to the next level, like, you got to get in the field. And if you go to a big school and maybe take those PWOs or, an offer to a big school with a bunch of quarterbacks, maybe it's going to be a hard time to compete in the field. It's not going to be good for you, but it's not going to be beneficial if you want to get to the next level. So I would say, just following your gut there and just knowing who you are and how you compete and how you work. That's really going to take you to the next level, I think, and just accepting that FCS football or a small Division I, like a MAC school or non-Power 5 school, like, that's good football. And if you get in the field, you're going to have the opportunity to play next level.
Jordan Yates, I got an actual question from one of our listeners who wanted me to ask you this before I get into my next one.
All right.
As a grad transfer, were you told before you got there that you were the guy, or did you feel like it was an Or do you feel like it is an open competition?
Like where I just got.
Yeah, where you just got the Sam Houston.
Yeah. Oh no. Definitely open competition. Yeah. You gotta compete for everything. I mean, obviously you can assume as a grad transfer, if they bring you in, that you have a shot to play. You just take that shot and take advantage of that shot.
Gotcha. And then talk about your recruiting journey a little bit and how you ended up at Georgia Tech.
Yeah. So really, coming out of high school, started to get a lot of traction, I guess, from kind of mid-level FBS schools. Like after my junior year, I want to say Troy, FAU, App State, schools like that. I was like most high school kids. Like I want to play Power 5, I want to play time ball, blah blah blah. So then Georgia Tech came along summer before my senior year, and it was really between them and Tulane and Troy were my top schools. And with Georgia Tech being in Atlanta, thought that was cool. Being an ACC school, and that I knew I'd be set up for life after football, that kind of just made my decision easy. And yeah, that's kind of set them apart from the other schools I was choosing from.
You graduate in 3 years. Kudos to you. You're always a really good student. You said what?
A little bit under 3, but we'll call it 3.
I mean, I'll say whatever, but you know that I honestly do not get 2 shits about school. Sure, good job, whatever. Kudos to you. Kudos to you, whatever. So you get to actually go through the experience again. How do you choose Sam Houston? Because I know that there's a lot of schools who are interested in you as a grad transfer quarterback. Like, what was different about this decision? Why are you like, all right, this is where I want to go?
So thankfully, unlike high school, I was a little bit wiser. I wasn't caught up in playing at the highest level or this and that or NIL stuff. All the things that high school kids got to deal with coming out these days, and transfers too. I just want to get to the next level, and like Max was saying earlier, to get to the next level, the best shot you have is to get on the field. So, I wanted to go somewhere where I could get on the field and have an opportunity to compete for the job, right away. It was a little bit that kind of me graduating in May kind of narrowed those options a little bit because, a lot of people were looking for a guy to get there for spring ball. So that kind of, cut some options off early on. But
can I pause you real quick? Don't forget where you're at. But I just want to tell people, so usually when you're a grad transfer, you get done December. Jordan graduated in 2 1/4, but if he'd have been like somebody else, a normal student, probably would have got done in maybe 3.5 years or 4 years, which usually puts you at that January mark where you can get into another school, get a whole off season in with the guys, and then work. So his situation is a little different, but it's also going to be different because you're going to have what, 2 or 3 years left at your next school?
I have 3 years left.
Yeah, so he's got a bunch of ball that he's going to be able to play. And he even, if he goes crazy, he could transfer again and have his free transfer that guy's got now. But keep going with your story. I just wanted to give the guys a little bit of information on that.
I got you. So yeah, I was really just looking specifically for what's the best fit for me to get on the field. And, thankfully with having a degree, I wasn't worried about academics at all. I didn't care about what Sam Houston's NBA programs like. I wasn't worried about none of that. I was just worried about what's the best football situation for me. And Sam Houston's a really good program historically. Won the FCS National Championship in 2020. And then after this season, we'll make the jump to FBS and join Conference USA. So just a really good program that's headed in the right direction, and also just felt really comfortable with the staff. Felt like they were real with me. And just felt comfortable. Me and my dad came on the visit and seemed like a good spot.
Totally makes sense. I want to give callers, you guys, an opportunity to hop in, jump in and ask a question. If you guys have anything, well, we still got these 2 guys on the line. I'm going to play a quick song. Nobody's asking any questions in that time period. I'll give you guys a little closing on some things we got coming up in the next work. But what song do you want to play, Jordan? You gave me 2. Which one you want to hear?
Let's play that Kodak.
Let's go with the Kodak. Back for everything. And we'll be back in just a second with Jordan Yates and Max Brosmer. was the young philosopher Kodak Black. I want to give you guys an opportunity to hop in, ask any questions about any of the things that you may want to ask college quarterbacks now or dealing with all the things that you guys may be dealing with in the future. And if you don't, I'm going to ask these guys a couple quick questions that I have on my mind. We're going to play a rapid fire game where I'm going to ask them. No, I'm just joking. I don't want to ask them too many questions. I don't want to get them caught up. But I do want to ask Jordan and Max. They had the opportunity to see a lot of young high school quarterbacks who work with our quarterback training program. I just want to ask them, who's a quarterback in our up-and-coming program that reminds them of them, and what do you think they need to do at their age to become special? Max, I'm going to ask you first because you probably would need longer than Jordan to figure out the answer, so I'm going to put you on the timer.
I already got one. I got one coming up right now.
You got one coming up right now?
I would say Jensen.
I knew you were going to say that.
Remind me what grade he's in again?
Jensen is only in 8th grade.
Yes. So the point that was brought up when we were training out there at where were we at? That Sutton Middle School. We were doing the same drills, and I just remember being in his shoes. Like, he's first of all, he's slinging the ball right now. He is. I mean, I haven't seen anybody his age throw the ball like that in a while, and just the fact that where he can put the ball is ridiculous. And not saying that completely reminds me of myself, but maybe a little bit. I think he's going to be a guy that maybe like me won't hit his peak in high school. Just from now, and not that it's a bad thing either. That could be a really good thing and turn out to be a really good thing for me too. But I think we both have to realize that we have to work our butts off to get to that level, and I think he's got a really good work ethic for his age. I'm excited to see where he goes because just right now it's really fun to train with him and stuff.
Jensen Cavani is one of our 8th graders. He is going to go to Decatur High School. I think he is probably the most polished guy in all of our programs. He does some things really, really well. He's so fun to watch and somebody that I really look forward to seeing them finish a career. Jordan Yates, I'm going to ask you the same question.
See, this isn't fair because Jensen was my answer too.
How is Jensen? Jensen doesn't play anything like you. Jensen is.
No. I mean, because Jensen's the only I know.
You know high schoolers. You know a lot of guys. Christian Langford, someone who I think is going to be really similar to you. Now, you probably had the Christian Langford. You know him. He goes to East Carolina now. You know him. You've seen him. Had one of the you in your high school, that run you had with Milton when you carried those guys to a state championship was absolutely unreal. And that was something that I don't think it's going to be easy to touch that again. So, but just the ability to run, do a lot of different things, throw from different angles is something that he has. I appreciate you guys coming on, chatting with me for a little bit. Is there any last words you guys want to give, or you just want to hop off?
I'm pretty good.
I think I'm good. Appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Appreciate you, young brothers. I'm going to give us one song, and we're going to get out. Thank you for joining me for another episode of The Q with Quincy Avery. Next week, I think I got a really special guest. I think I'm going to get David Mulligana of Athletes First, the world's biggest agent, to come talk about what he pitches to clients when he goes into these meetings trying to recruit quarterbacks. So I'm going to ask quarterbacks to hop on, college, high school, wherever, and kind of see what the biggest agent in all of pro sports probably all of pro sports right now does when he's recruiting a client. So thank you guys for hopping on. Jordan or Max, what's your chance we finish it up? I think we just go with Ocean Gold. I'm going to go Ocean Gold. I've never heard it. Let's do that. Everybody enjoy your night. Thank you for joining me for another episode of The Q with Quincy Avery.